everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and today is a crazy day. There's possible outages tonight with some servers. There is a 50th golden birthday for Hippo that was celebrated today. I don't know, that was weird. Doomsday planes, silver shirts, Litecoin celebrations coming up, and more right after this. Hey Johnny, happy Thursday. How are you doing?
Lisa, happy Thursday. I'm doing good. I got my new shirt on.
I saw the video today.
Can you guys see the back of it? Pretty cool.
84 million. Yes, I'll also show. Yeah, that's awesome. Silver to Bitcoin's gold. So catch us up on that. I've got, or do you want me to play the video? You tell me.
We could do both. I'll just catch you guys up on it though real quick. It says Litecoin, the silver to Bitcoin's gold. I got it from 84million.com. Kyle, really awesome guy, really good person in the Litecoin community. He's a rock star. He's really making moves, doing things. He's just a great overall member of the community. He's really knowledgeable, smart guy. He has a podcast where he interviews great people, puts out great content. But awesome shirt because silver happened to have a good day today as well. Silver's moving up in price. Obviously, it's still suppressed, but I said in this tweet, you can consider Litecoin both an industrial monetary coin, kind of like silver. We can consider silver an industrial monetary metal. It has use. Litecoin has use. We just saw the other day, the Litecoin blockchain settled and processed over 1 million transactions in one day.
Wow.
The median transaction fee remained under 1 penny. So talk about use for actual using crypto. Litecoin is where it's at. Bitcoin's barely usable now. And what people don't realize is Bitcoin transaction fees are going to go to hundreds of dollars per transaction. You're not going to want to transact with your Bitcoin. Again, it's a settlement layer, a savings, but it's not going to be for, even if you buy an ounce of gold, say gold's $2,500 an ounce a couple years from now, but a Bitcoin transaction's $300. You're not going to want to pay $300 to send a Bitcoin transaction.
And that's not talking bad about Bitcoin. That is the programming or the coding that was put in to secure Bitcoin. That's what it was intended to do, was to make it expensive to move, to make it difficult. That's the security that's built into Bitcoin.
Yeah, and what a lot of people don't realize is what affects the transaction fee on Bitcoin. The more transactions you send into a wallet, so say you have an Exodus wallet and you send Bitcoin there over the course of a couple of years 100 times. It's kind of like having, $100,000 in pennies. It's going to be very hard to spend because it's all in little pieces. So I was watching a podcast the other day. They were saying that these were Bitcoin maximalists, and they were saying people got to be careful. They use Bitcoin. You don't want to send too many small transactions. And it's like the amount of thinking involved. I said, normal people aren't going to think like this. They just want to keep sending to a wallet and then send back out. Right. What you could do with Litecoin, it's not feasible for the common man. And, it's kind of like so with Bitcoin, again, it's like the more transactions you send, it's like having all pennies. Where if you just sent $100,000 in one transaction, it's like having large bills. It's easier to spend. So you're going to get you're not going to have to pay as large of a transaction. But obviously, if got $100,000 in pennies and you want to buy something that's 100 grand, you're probably gonna have to pay some type of administrative fee for them to count all those pennies, or you have to convert them. No one's gonna take them $100,000 in pennies. They'd rather
No,
take.
actually, Sean said one time he tried to pay a bill at the city or whatever, and this lady was nasty to him, and so he, like, threatened to pay the next time in pennies, and she sent him a letter, showing there was a law that, like, if you did that, you would be impeding her business, the city business, and that he could be put in jail or fined or something. I don't know, because it would slow down business because she'd have to count all the pennies. So yeah, that's a really interesting thought. You'd be impeding business
Yeah.
by
So it's
having.
just, again, we're not dissing. I love Bitcoin. I think the price is going to go abnormally high.
Mhm.
I expect a $1 million Bitcoin price in the future. I think by
Yeah.
2030, Bitcoin will hit $1 million per coin. Now, I don't think that's going to be in today's money or today's spending power. And that's going to be during an inflationary period. That might be equivalent to $400,000 today, but
Okay.
you'll see a price of $1 million per coin.
So like one house um
Yeah,
is one Bitcoin.
I mean, that's even if we don't get hype. The price could go much higher if we hit a hyperinflationary period. We don't know, and you know what? Again, real quick, hyperinflation is marked as 50% rise in price month in and month out. So we don't know where inflation is going to bring us with how much fiat they're going to create. I mean, they might have to put us in a hyperinflationary period to satisfy the Social Security obligations and all this stuff, the debt. You know, Social Security, who says that? Sure, they might be able to cover your Social Security, but where's that money what's going to be the spending power of that money?
Well,
You
they're
know,
already saying, I mean, I think we've all known for a while, and I've several people have said, like, Medicaid's done and bankrupt in 10 years, Social Security's bankrupt in 10 or 15 years, if it's not already. And so now they're old crazy Nikki Haley or Bird Brain or whatever they're calling her is talking about just setting new rules for people coming into the system, saying, well, just tell them like it, you're not going to get that, extend those dates or whatever. And I'm like, well, just stop with the handouts altogether,
yeah,
because these handouts, but stop also asking people to pay in to something they're never going to get. And that's where our whole tax system is a lie, and it doesn't come back to we the people. We know that. And it's just a scam.
it
And
is. Let
it
me
all
give
needs
you
to
a
end.
flip side of the coin, though, Lisa. What if they can what if it doesn't go bankrupt and they just hyperinflate everything and say you're expecting $2,000 a month and they hyperinflate the dollar and they give you $2,000 a month, but it's a spending power of $20.
Right. Yeah.
That
Your milk costs $60 a gallon or whatever. I
that,
mean,
that could be when milk costs $100 a gallon.
$100 a gallon. Yeah.
Yeah. And people think that sounds insane. It's absolutely not insane. Research
No.
hyperinflations that have occurred. You could look to Weimar Germany. You could look to Argentina, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe had $1 trillion notes that were worthless.
Well,
Venezuela, people throw fiat in the street and burn it. There's been hyperinflation across the globe in several instances throughout time. So, and inflation and all this is, even in the Roman Empire, inflation occurred. This is just
and all this is coming really fast. With the treasuries that people that all over the world are not being bought by typically they were bought by foreign countries or people in other countries. $100 bills, there used to be more $100 bills held outside the US than were ever held inside, and that's not happening anymore. And so all that is flooding back inside. So that is an exponential thing that's happening to the US, which would make that hyperinflation, I guess, go even more. But if you guys go to Jenny Moonstone's channel, she released which it was already free on her Patreon. You could go to Patreon, look at Jenny Moonstone and watch the recent interview with Uncle Cliff. It was free. You didn't have to be a member, but I guess some people didn't understand. So she went ahead and risked putting it on YouTube. I think it's the full interview on YouTube, but I watched the one on Patreon, so I didn't rewatch the one on YouTube. But watch that. He's talking about us going into a time by this spring after the dollar fails, and I'm guessing the bank bail-ins happen or whatever happens with the bank failures or consolidations, whatever ends up happening with that. That people are making trips or planning trips together to go leave their government jobs because it won't pay enough for their $30,000 a month rent or whatever. I can't remember what numbers he said, something ridiculous. So they are like, hey, let's go mine some gold or silver in the whatever river or in the Grand Canyon in public properties and national parks and stuff like that. And so it's like all rules are off because everything is just crazy.
Bix always talks about all the gold along the banks of the Colorado River. And he's even debated, maybe that guy's name is Steven Sinclair or somebody. The guy even admitted there's a lot of gold there. He said, but it's not profitable to mine. And Bix said, well, on a $5,000 an ounce gold price, it's going to be profitable to mine. And then you see all the gold that hits the market. It's absolutely, we're in, they can't lower the interest rates. We're in a different time now. So people think, oh, the Fed's going to reverse course. They're going to lower the interest rates. They can't because it'll crush the dollar. The bond market is imploding. The market's pushing the interest rates higher. The natural forces of the market is going to keep pushing these interest rates higher. So you're going to have where the amount of interest on the national debt, I think in 3 years, they did a analysis. In 3 years from now, the amount of interest on the national debt is going to be about $3 trillion per year. The military defense spending is about $900 billion per year. And we spend 10 times more than any other country. So that means just to service our debt, we're going to be paying more than triple what the military budget is annually. That's unsustainable. Mm-hmm. So I think that, hyperinflation might be the only, I guess, way out. Not that it's a way out, but it's a way to also to bring people to their knees, get people really desperate, and just get into these hard assets, get into them. It's not, there's time is running out. We don't have a crystal ball. It's very hard to predict timing. We know what's coming. Timing's hard to predict because they have tools to keep manipulating us and kicking the can down the road. But eventually the problem rears its head back out of the sand. So eventually we're going to have to deal with this. And we're in a point in time right now where they're kicking the can down the road, but every time the problem pops up, more and more problems exist. So we're at a point of no return. It's kind of like if we're the Titanic, we've already hit the iceberg. Not that I think that's what necessarily happened, but let's just go with their official story. We've hit the iceberg. The water is leaking in, and the boat's about to sink. So there's not much that they can do. But just like, on the Titanic, people didn't even think it was going to sink. They said, nope, nothing can sink this ship, even as water was rushing in. And
Well, that's what I heard. There was somebody talking about, in New York, they're openly talking about monitoring people's social media to make sure that everybody stays calm and that they have ways of intervening to manage social media and the messaging, because it's important that everybody stay calm and safe, um, or that's more important than people getting information or something like this. And we're amping up towards the election again and all this. If I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll go along once again with the narrative. And there, last Thursday, I had done a video about the information that came out about the Italian Secret Service and the investigation they did on the last election and what they had found. And my friend Greg had said he follows all these airplanes, and he had seen the Doomsday plane was over the Vatican on Thursday last week. Today, while we're doing this show, I get a notification that the Doomsday plane had just landed in Omaha, Nebraska. So it was back home a week later. And then today, while I was doing some of my eBay, Etsy, uploading some stuff, I got this really cool vintage strongbox perforated metal thing that I put up. It was really cool. But anyway, uh, I got a notification saying that all their servers are going to be down tonight between like um, midnight and 6 a.m. or something, and or that they had gotten a notification. My listing software had gotten a notification that all their servers would be down during that time. And tomorrow is November 17th, um, and all the Black Friday comms are everywhere. So it'll be really interesting to see. And I know they won't take down or I don't believe, and you've said they won't take down the internet, but
I don't think so.
I could see some kind of like turn off, turn back on, reset thing.
Rolling blackouts to put fear in
I've talked
us.
about rolling blackouts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll
That
be
could definitely. I've actually seen, Lisa, I forgot to tell you. I've seen the most outages and glitches I've ever seen in the
in the
banking
payments.
system. Yes. Yeah. And to the point where it's happening repeatedly, people are pissed. And it happened a lot starting about a week and a half ago to 2 weeks ago. And that's that weekend when the three banks had the outages. And then that one Citizens Bank went down. And then remember, about 800,000 people didn't get payroll checks.
Yep.
A lot of issues with transactions not going through
And
the
there
right
was an
way.
announcement, something about like that banking needs to change, or banking is gonna change, needs to change. I can't remember. There was some hearing that I was listening to, is gonna change or needs to change. And then Uphold is now just carrying Caspa, which was a coin that SL was going to do a reading on for my, not a reading, but she had information from her guides about Caspa for my Patreon. But then she had like a leak in her apartment or something, so we weren't able to do it. But and it spiked like crazy. Then there was I just in the Veritasium official chat, there was just I didn't see a link or anything, but everybody can do their own research. I'm no advisor or anything, but that T-Mobile is going to start allowing staking, which infringes allegedly on Reggie's patents, um, uh, on your phone. So if all that system is set up and ready to go, then um, that's kind of
There's just been a lot of, like I said, I can't stress enough how much outages there's been and things going down. And to me, it seems like cyber attacks that they're not letting on about.
There was a huge cyber attack in China. Was it
Yeah,
last week?
and this
Or
stuff the worst is for someone in my position, people get very angry with me. And then I try to explain there's a lot of stuff going on, and people say, well, what are you going to do about it? I said,
I've
What
been
am I
trying to
going
tell
to
you
do
to get in
about
the
it? I
book for a
said,
long
I'm going to
time.
send you a wallet to download, and you better buy yourself some Litecoin right now. And like, no, but it's like, in all seriousness though, like people get pissed and they just don't, they're too far removed from what the way we think. They just look at everything as, oh, it's the software, it's the system you gave me, it's the system you gave me. It's like, no, it's not. There's major glitches behind the scenes, and it's I don't know when everything really goes down. I'm gonna just have to put a voicemail on my phone saying, there's the banking system's down right now.
Right. I
There's
told you
no
so.
there's
This is
nothing
why
I
I've
can do
been
about it.
pushing. Yeah, I've been trying
Yeah,
to educate about crypto and holding assets in your own possession for years now. I
yeah.
tried to tell you. Yeah.
And people just get, that's the thing. They just get pissed, and they're just like, no, it's like, no, because they don't think that they're ever committing wrong in the system itself, like the banking system, the Federal Reserve System. They don't know what that means, the Federal Reserve System. They're just like, huh? Like most people, if you ask them what's the Federal Reserve, they couldn't tell you what the Federal Reserve is.
Not federal and there's no reserves.
Yeah.
Go read
And I don't
Mr. Jekyll
blame
Island. Yeah.
I don't blame these people. They've made it so people don't need to know this stuff. They've made it so people obviously I think people should know, but it's not, people aren't educated on this. There's no monetary education. They keep
Mhm.
this opaque. They don't want people in the know about their money. They don't want people to know about silver. They don't want people to know about gold. They don't want people to know about Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin, ha ha ha. Think of FTX when you think of Bitcoin. And
But
it's
that's
like, no, that's not even in the realm of the same. But it's just yeah, Daddio says people have been dumbed down intentionally. They really
mhm.
have been. And it's I always say it's our job to get the word out there to the right people. Don't let people laugh at you. I did a video about this last week, and I went a little Goodfellas on in the video, like the Goodfellas, the movie. Like I said, when someone laughs at you, you say, "What am I here to amuse you? Like, what is this shit? What is this funny?
Mhm.
Like call the but like." There's people that genuinely want to know. Like I was at an event last weekend, and somebody saw I had a Litecoin shirt on. They came up asking me questions, and they kept asking me more questions. I said, Johnny, what's blockchain? Because I explained what Bitcoin is, and I explained what blockchain is and what this is. And they said, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen with the currency? So they were very inquisitive. Those are people I want to help. I want to give the information out there that people that are open-minded and want to hear it. Not everyone's had the luxury of learning this, so we can't get mad at people for not knowing. But when people like laugh and try to laugh us off, it's like, what's so funny? Like, what do you know about Bitcoin?
Yeah,
You,
don't waste your time with people that aren't genuinely asking questions and interested in listening, because there's so many people out there that are interested in learning. I mean, more and more I have people asking me, where can I learn information about it? And I, send them to a playlist on my channel, or on, I'll send them to Twitter. I'll send them to Andreas Antonopoulos. I'll send them to Westwood's, I'll send them to Johnny's Twitter, because I know he'll answer questions for him.
yes.
There's a lot of great resources out there for people. On my website, we've got classes and just anything out there. If people want to learn, there's a lot of information out there, and a lot of people that want to help.
Shout out to Jason Moore. He said he loved that video. That video was a little spicy. So if you guys want to go back last week, you could see my Goodfellas video of calling people out that laugh at us about Bitcoin, and that's what the public want. That's what they want the public to do. They want the public to laugh about this, not think of this as a lifeboat and an
Mhm.
alternative. And they want people just thinking of Bitcoin like a stock, like a security. It's like a tech stock, and they don't want you thinking about the properties of a currency and a payment network. It's really important. When I was talking to this guy last weekend, I said Bitcoin is as great of an invention as the telephone. And he goes, really? And I said, yeah. I said, in the world of money and payments, it's
Mhm.
huge. I said, it's probably bigger than the telephone. He said, wow. And he was like very like blown away. He wasn't like laughing at all. And I said, it's a way to send, I explained about it. It's a way to send value from A to B and with no type of fraud. I said, that's never been done or accomplished before. And it's a really like breakthrough thing. And that's the word we got to get out there. This is an invention. It's a technology. It's an invention. And
But
it's
wouldn't you say it's even, like, building on or the next step in our constitutional rights? Because, like, as I've been looking into this whole Brown versus Board of Education and how, what it overturned, and then I've been going down this whole rabbit hole of that, and the original, the case that it overturned actually was talking about being able to travel along the highway, and that the government, you should not have to, identify or submit your identity to any government to be able to travel along a public highway. And I thought about that with transacting commerce. Do you know that the left-hand lane in the highway is called the commerce lane? We shouldn't have to give up our identity to transact, to have
no,
commerce.
we absolutely should not. We should have the freedom of privacy, but
Yes.
because of the United States Patriot Act, we do not have that. And they've put
We
it
do not.
into law that by trying to get privacy, you're actually violating what they call the AML compliance, the anti-money laundering compliance, and KYC, which is know your customer. So why I always preach we have to make this stuff irrelevant, like
Right.
I would say rules for a typewriter, because none of us want to go to jail. We want but we make it irrelevant and say, well, we don't need to play on that field anymore. So we
Right.
don't
We're
even
not
need
doing
to.
anything to hurt somebody else, but
It's
we're
like,
not.
I'll give a sports reference, even though Tom just said people are too obsessed with sports. I'm not. I'm just going to give a sports reference. It's like, let's play a different sport. You guys are playing football. We're going to play baseball now. And it's like, you play
Right.
baseball, you don't have to worry about the rules in football. You're playing a
Right.
different game. But Tom is absolutely right. They have people way too obsessed with sports. And it's actually been being talked about a lot more lately that it's fake. I really think a lot
Mhm.
of football is fake.
Yes.
And I think it's kind of like wrestling, like the WWE, the WWF. They're actors, they're out there. They're good athletes. I'm not taking that away from them. These guys are excellent athletes. They're excellent and they're very skilled.
But it's
Kind of
just
like
like our system, it's rigged.
it's a rigged system.
Mhm.
And there's a guy that was a ex like mobster, has a podcast. The guy's name is Joey Merlino, and they talk a lot about gambling. And he was like a boss in like the Philly like crime family or whatever. And he's like, it's an entertaining show, this guy. But he even came. And this, if anybody would know about sports being fixed, it's a guy like that. This guy
Mhm.
would probably be an expert. He came out and said the NFL is absolutely fixed. He gave proof of it. He talked about games, plays that wouldn't normally happen. And he's like, I don't care what they say. He's like, this stuff is fixed. And he's like, doesn't mean you shouldn't gamble on it. And he's like, you can, somebody's got to win, but it is fixed. And it's even like that Travis Kelsey guy that he's the one that's dating Taylor Swift.
I heard they're getting married now. They've been dating like a month
That
or
whole
something.
thing, and they're Pfizer. They're both Pfizer reps, and he's
Oh God, help
you
us.
know, it's all a
all a show.
ruse. It's all a show. It's a ruse, and it's so it's yeah, people are too worship sports too much. Not that I'm saying don't watch it, hey, enjoy it, but it's you know, there's
Don't get caught up in it.
don't get caught up in it where you're ignoring. Don't ignore sound money and your own freedom because you want to watch the game. I remember like somebody like hit me up asking me about the jab and saying, well, you can't go to Yankee Stadium if you're not jabbed. And I said, well, I won't be going to Yankee Stadium then. Like, I don't want to be there if they want me jabbed, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, there's stuff trending about that today, about that and children. And anyway,
yeah.
lots of other things we can't talk about, but I will let you go. I know we both have plans or I have plans. My husband is taking me to dinner. So I'm
Nice.
excited about that. Yeah.
Go have a great date.
Yeah, I will. Thanks. And I'm going to end on your video and make sure everybody sees it. So go follow Johnny on Twitter. Send him a message if you have a question about Litecoin. And we'll see you guys all at the Litecoin Summit.
Yes. Later, guys.
All right.
Hey, what's up, guys? Johnny Litecoin here. How's it going today? All right, I'm super pumped today. Got a new crypto shirt. Always love getting new gear. Check it out, guys. I'll show you guys the back, too. Sick shirt, right? Shout out to Kyle, 84 Million Shop, 84million.com. What I love about this shirt, it has a lot of meaning. Crypto shirts are great. Obviously, I love Litecoin. I love Bitcoin. This shirt means a lot. Litecoin, the silver to Bitcoin's gold. Guys, silver and Litecoin they're very similar, first of all. A lot of people don't like that comparison. I like the comparison of calling Litecoin digital silver. Silver is a monetary metal and it's an industrial metal. Silver is super undervalued. A lot of people think silver is the most undervalued asset on planet Earth. Completely out of whack in relation to gold, the silver to gold ratio, kind of like how Litecoin is. Litecoin is super out of whack in terms of the ratio of how many Litecoins equal one Bitcoin. Litecoin, you can consider Litecoin an industrial coin. It has a lot of use. It's good to transact with, a lot cheaper to transact with. We're going to see that use case hit center stage as Bitcoin transaction fees hit hundreds of dollars per transaction. That is coming. I'm super bullish on the price of Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is kind of becoming a settlement layer, a really secure final settlement layer, but it's not good for transacting with one another. Litecoin is. We just saw over 1 million Litecoin transactions processed on the network the other day. The median or average transaction fee remained under 1 penny. That's use. Litecoin has the privacy layer built in. So guys, Litecoin and silver, a lot of similarities. Are both really undervalued. But great shirt. I love wearing shirts that have a lot of meaning. So definitely check out the 84million.com shop. Peace.